Hey, so I heard you sold movies here? Well, gee, whatever gave you that idea? Okay, well, anyway, I'm looking for VHS. This is 2017. We don't sell movies on VHS, jackass. No, I'm talking about the VHS movie. Why, yes, I'm aware that there was a time when movies came on VHS. Now we sell them on DVD and Blu-ray. I'm talking about an actual movie under the title of VHS. Why would you call a movie VHS? That's dumb.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
VHS 2 is an anthology film in which each story within the movie is meant to look like found footage that was converted into the VHS format. VHS 1 is a film that's gotten a lot of mixed opinions. Some people loved it, some people hated it, some people just thought it was alright. Personally, I'm part of the crowd that loves the first movie, in case you can tell by the intro where I showed that I clearly owned it on DVD, although I will admit that it has its flaws. The short with the couple being stalked in the hotel room was kind of underwhelming. I'm sure the part where the killer dunks the guy's toothbrush in the toilet bowl was terrifying to someone out there, but to the vast majority of horror watchers, you're gonna have to try a little harder. When it comes to the second movie, I have to agree with the majority of viewers that it is a vast improvement over the first. The wraparound segment for this movie is fairly serviceable. It does give a very valid reason for how the characters come across these gruesome VHS tapes. However, serviceable is really the only word to describe it up until it reaches the end. Some of the more memorable moments occur right before the credits roll. The first short that this film introduces is kind of the weakest of the bunch in my opinion. It does have a very cool, creepy concept going for it, although it is heavily lifted from the eye, and there are a couple of moments where it genuinely scares me. However, the characters are really its greatest weakness. The main character in the first short is kind of an idiot. Like, there's a point where he sees this big lump under his sheet and he seriously thinks that it's this girl he just saw sleeping on the couch in the other room. Hey, Eric Cartman, what's up? Fist bump? Heh. Alright, you're looking kind of shitty. I'll just go over. Whoa! Is that you, Eric Cartman? No, that's Yakko. Wow, I'm a fucking idiot. Then there's this woman who just enters the story in the most awkward manner possible. Hey, what's up? I'm just gonna invite myself into your house, help myself to one of your beers, and then fuck you. Wait, don't call the police. I've got some really useful exposition and shit. The second short is a vast improvement. It doesn't necessarily have the deepest characters, but for the type of story it's meant to tell, that's not exactly necessary. It just tells a very simple and fast-paced story which is brilliantly executed from a filmmaking standpoint. There's one particularly impressive moment involving a truck. I'm sure that those of you who have seen this movie know what I'm talking about. The third segment is easily my favorite in the entire movie, although I will warn you, for those of you who don't like reading subtitles, there is some dialogue spoken in English. However, most of it is in a non-English language with English subs. It is easily the most memorable and the most terrifying, with some of the most nightmarish images in the entire film. I mean, it deals with a religious cult, which is enough to scare me to begin with, but the bastard who made this just had to keep piling on top of that to make damn sure I wouldn't get any sleep tonight. This segment does end on kind of a silly note, which might ruin it for some people, but personally I didn't mind it too much. It didn't bring the whole thing apart for me. The fourth and final segment is a lot of fun. It has some great kid characters in it. They talk to each other just like regular kids. In other words, they cuss all the fucking time. The scarier moments were a little bit cheesy, but they were still a lot of fun. I get the impression that the filmmakers weren't trying to make something completely serious. One thing that some reviewers didn't like about this segment is that for a large portion of it, the GoPro camera with which it's being filmed is strapped to this little dog's back, but honestly, it never bothered me. They still managed to create some cool effects shots around the dog, and it never really felt like it was ruining the segment. In the end, I found VHS 2 to be a pretty solid horror film. It does have its flaws for sure. Like I said, the first story is kind of meh, but overall it's still a very cool, creepy, found footage anthology, and it does come highly recommended. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about this movie. I hope you all have a good one.